folks, welcome back. This is Chris in my birthplace, Baltimore, Maryland, also known as Baltimore. And my guest today is none other than Joost Strydom. Joost, welcome to Baltimore.
Thank you. It's a long way from Orania, but thank you for hosting us and accepting us here and showing us the city.
So is it your first time in America?
It's my first time in the US. Yeah.
Wow, okay. So let me ask you, what are your impressions so far?
Well, I think America is a very diverse country in many ways, but specifically the little micro part that we've seen has been diverse in terms of landscape, in terms of even of weather, of peoples, of architecture, of the way that the cities are, and we've enjoyed it. We've seen parts that looks like Europe. We've seen parts that, in terms of architecture, more American identity, and even more African kind of influences as well. So yeah, we saw many things.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for something that resembles Orania, you're going to have to go to Arizona or New Mexico. It's a little different here on the East Coast. It's more of a temperate environment. But here in Baltimore, you've seen modern architecture. We've taken you around and showed you the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum. What were your thoughts about that? How was that?
Well, I think we saw interesting technical things, but what I personally experienced at the museum specifically was the fact that someone wrote, when laying one of the first stones, there's like a big sign up there, and it's saying, this is only second in importance to my signing of the Declaration of Independence, and I'm not even sure if it's second to that. And that pioneer spirit, that vision of, was it you or someone there who said that the tracks took 25 years or more to complete, a very important track in that sense. And that way of thinking, yes, we signed a document, it's important to sign a document, it's important to embrace independence in that fashion, but true independence is built. And it's built over a period, and it's built with hard work. It's built by taming your area, by building infrastructure in inhospitable places and so on. And that mindset of, yes, we did something, we signed a document, we declared independence, now we are building independence, and the building part is more important, immediately resonated with me, and I think that with the people of Orania. So it's quite exciting to see something that makes you feel like you can identify with it, something that makes you feel at home in that sense. And I think it's a good reminder for Afrikaners as well. We can say things on social media, we can sign documents, we can do all kinds of things, but we must remember that if we want to build more independence, work towards more self-determination, it must be self-esteem, and more. Freedom is built. That's the Orania thing. Freedom is built. It must be built, and it takes hands and rolled up sleeves to do it.
Well, I mean, isn't that the symbol of Orania? Is the little boy out there working with his hands?
Exactly. And pair that now, especially in the case of this railroad, pair that now with a vision. It's not that instant gratification, it's a vision of something that's going to take years, not even maybe our generation, but maybe the next one. You have to have vision, and doing a lot of hard work without being gratified for it directly or immediately, that a lot of respect for that, really, it's really impressive.
Or not even giving credit for laying the groundwork. People forget about you.
Absolutely.
But the key thing is to lay a foundation for future generations so they have prosperity and liberty. Yeah?
Absolutely.
So it sounds like getting see a little bit of the city here. We talked about many of the early immigrants to the city were German. They brought a strong work ethic here and worked in the spice factories here and in the warehouses, also in the shipping industry here. And we see some of the results of that, the long-term architecture and things like that. Plus, you saw the railroad. That's also a big part of the Germans being here. But all of that played a key role in turning Baltimore into a major commerce and shipping center. Unfortunately, that's kind of faded in this century, but still kind of an important place. But I can see where it resonates with you, the hard work, the labor, putting forth the effort, and looking down the road for something that will be there for generations to come.
Yeah, and as you said, the culture of grabbing on work is not only a physical activity, it's also a culture. Mm-hmm. You can't have one without the other. So if you want to embrace that culture, and in our case, what we are doing, what we are hoping to achieve, as I said, freedom is built. It's not only built by going to work every day, putting bricks and mortar together. It's also built by building the culture. Someone once said, the Egyptians didn't build the pyramids. The pyramids built the Egyptians. You know?
Because they had the culture that encouraged that.
Yes, you have to go through something like that to build that culture. And the Germans who settled here, I'm not all that familiar with the specific history of Baltimore, but we know, kind of the events generally around that world of people settling in a place, impoverished and starting from nothing and building great things. So that influence is immensely important. We see it in South Africa as well. We see it in many countries where groups came and they settled and they started with nothing and they built magnificent things, things that you can be very thankful for and so on. So culture is just as important.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because if Orania persists as a settlement where people go and build a community and it continues in the future, perhaps one day you have a situation like I have for your descendants. So my great-great-grandfather, Friedrich Wilhelm Aspelmeyer, got off a boat right there in 1848, right there. Now the harbor looked a little different in 1848, not quite that sexy as it looks today. But got off the boat right there, walked about 200 meters, went this direction for another 400 meters, and lived right down the street the rest of his natural life, working right here in the harbor, coming over from Germany.
Satisfied with the opportunity to work and the opportunity to build and
to worship freely. He was able to do that here. Yeah. And also there was a big German community, so he still was part of that, but became an American. Of course, learned English and contributed to society, but retained his unique cultural distinctiveness.
So I think the thing is also, in the area of social media and so on, the constant grass is greener on the other side kind of thing. You need to also understand that those people were satisfied. They came here, started really with nothing, as you said, you came on a boat, and the ability to not constantly envy other people's delusions of grandeur, but to be satisfied with what you have, thankful for what you have, through your faith as well, and be thankful and work until you leave some of the legacy for the next generation. That mindset of not constantly looking where you can go next and what you can,
you want to settle down. Yeah. That's interesting. Just one more parallel before we wrap up, and that's I look to South Africa, at not just the Afrikaners who settled in Orania, but also to the Bafokeng, who live up near Rustenburg, who've received money from the platinum industry, and they've taken it and they've helped strengthen their culture and their community, and they're becoming largely self-sufficient despite all the challenges of South Africa. So this idea of self-sufficiency is not something limited to Afrikaner. It's just for everybody, is it not?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, people should take up that responsibility and do that work and embrace that, as I stated previously, that idea. Self-sufficiency, self-determination, freedom starts with the discipline to do things, to build things, to construct things, because building, doing, constructing, creating is taking responsibility. There is no freedom without responsibility. And it's a very entitled way of thinking to expect freedom, expect privileges, expect without having the discipline and the commitment and the responsibility to start building those things. And yes, it is extremely important for communities to take up that responsibility. I think it's very important.
Well, Joost, thank you so much. We've met a couple times in person, and of course remotely through Zoom. People keep asking me to come to Orania, but I keep saying it's pretty far out there. When I meet a billionaire that's got a helicopter flying me out there, I might come out and visit you. But short of that, maybe we'll meet out there one day. But at least we got to meet here in Baltimore, my birthplace, which is pretty exciting. So bye-bye, Donkey, for your time. It's a pleasure. Folks, Joost Strydom from Orania.
Thank you very much.